Welcome back, folks. Today we're going right back to the old vintage world of the old Magic the Gathering as we Yu-Gi-Oh! Moving on. So my name is Rudy. You're watching Timmy's Emporium as we continue to audit a very high-end collection that went through the old Florida store here. I want to start the video off by saying this guy loved his signed cards. Like in the first video, we saw some signed cards and things from those counter spells, but dude, look at this. Like this might be the most amount of signed vintage cards I've ever seen in a single collection. Like, dude, check this out. Look at this. I'm gonna literally, I've never seen so many. I was like, like he told me there were signed cards, but I didn't realize, like, holy. And again, there's people who absolutely love signed cards. I'm not, the biggest fan of signed cards, but there's definitely a market for it. And again, they're not gradable. They're not mint condition. We're not dealing with anything of that caliber. But at the same time, that's wild, man. That's wild looking. Here, let me move the camera over. Like, that's wild. Anyways, so today's conversation, we're going to touch a little bit on these basic lands, and then we're going to go over to some other really high-end stuff from the Alpha Beta era. Some Arabian Nights and all that little fun shenanigans. But anyways, yes, I still believe old ABU, especially Alpha Beta, basic lands, I can't believe how severely undervalued. I thought for sure when pump and dump evil Rudy blah 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 angry pitchfork come after ban this that. I thought for sure in like 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21 by now we would have seen $100, $200 basic lands. And again, gem mint and never been touched, and Beckett graded 9.69 condition, and 4 quads and 1 minus quattro, and yeah, there's always going to be that exception. But overall, I thought even raw played beta cards would be substantially higher than where they are today. I'm very, very surprised. But again, that's also a reflection of look at the last 12 months, or specifically the last 6 months. There's no major buyouts. There's no major price increases. I got an interesting video coming up on apparently Eater of the Dead. I've been getting bombarded with messages of the old Eater of the Dead card, which is kind of a great card. It's such a meme, but such a fun old card. But there's nothing really dramatic happening. So I want to start the video off with that. I want to share these. I do not personally value signed cards any premium. Again, historically signed cards tend to be in more rougher condition, which these are. Most of these cards are either going to be played, MP, and even some of these are going to be in HP condition. These are not, gem minty cards or anything like that. But they're iconic. I love them. There's no such thing as too much of them. All right, let's move on from the basic lands here. We're going to start with this little batch here and go over a few things. So first, Ball Lightning card from the Dark. The Dark is such a controversial, it is the weakest, most underappreciated set of the 4 horsemen because it's cheap. It's the most produced, it's the least loved, the weakest power level, and people just don't like the Dark. Years ago, the Dark was never deemed a very successful product. The Dark was always deemed that bad, stepchild type set. People never liked it. So again, even cards like Ball Lightning, a lot of these cards from the Dark are not reserve lists, but they're iconic first printings. Are they getting investable? Are they going to go up? I can't go that far because I'm very skeptical in an era with reprint cities, secret layers, and your stepsister. I'm very nervous to that. So now we got some beta cards. We're going to go right into this beta demonic tutor. Very, very well-loved beta demonic tutor. Absolutely stunning. Again, these playable, iconic cards. Everybody knows what demonic tutor is. If you are a Magic fan for any number of years, you know what a tutor is. You know the infamous demonic tutor. Everybody knows. Hard 5-star, just iconic card. Always recommend. This is probably the nicest card in the whole collection. This is actually a near mint, beautifully centered Brain Geyser. I wouldn't say like perfect PSA 10, but this is probably the nicest condition beta card in the entire collection. You know what? Just so your memes don't become dreams, I'm actually going to put a sleeve on it because this one is just really, really nice. But I may take it out of the sleeve just to kind of trigger a few people out there. But yeah, amazing. All right, Force Field. Again, very well loved. You can see the damage in the middle from the shuffling. Quite a bit of wear. Absolutely. I never knew the artwork of that connected with the Mox background. Isn't that crazy? The little things in Magic they did was wow. But yeah, beta Force Field, just like beta Gauntlet of Mites, beta Cyclopean Tombs. Certain beta cards are just so impossible to get. I don't care the condition. I love to have them. Mahamadi, again, creatures back in the day were extremely loved and played. So while a 6-drop for a 5/6 flyer is kind of like, who cares? This is kind of a big deal. And to find it unplayed in decent condition is a really good thing. These are just, like I said, everything you're going to see in this video, again, I'm so excited to add this to the Rudy Vault. I get so pumped. Like, just doing this video right now is price. I love it. It's just so much fun. Beta Soul Ring, again, black bordered alpha beta Soul Rings. They're just buy them. I don't care what anyone says. All right, Mirror Universe. Again, Legends, reserve list, only printing ever. The 2 Chickadoos on here, absolutely iconic card. I even have play mats of these 2 chicks. Love the art, love the style, love the hair, love the kind of silly, playful style theme. Great card. All right, Mana Drain. Here's a good piece of conversation. Original printing black bordered Mana Drain. Already been reprinted in multiple masters. And is there a secret layer Mana Drain yet? Been reprinted. Actually, is it Mana Drain's even Commander Legends? That's a $100 draft box. Again, original version, original art. Just still, can you imagine if this card was reserve list and there was never another Mana Drain printed? Sucker would be like $1,000, man. All right, so a playset of City of Ass. Okay, personally, again, I don't like the card. I've never liked City of Breast. I've never been a fan of the Cobb. You know, people with their play sets of Cobbs, I just don't like the city. I don't like the fact that anytime it's tapped, you lose damage. If your opponent has a deck that can tap land and you can, I just don't like I just don't like the Cobb. I love the art. I love the original version. I hate the Chronicles version even more with the white border. Terribly ugly. Definitely an investable card. Original Arabian Nights. It's Arabian Nights. Super rare. Super iconic. I don't like the card personally, but it is definitely a strong card for any actual kind of investment portfolio or any diversified, anyone who's serious about it. All right, so now we're going to go over to a triple abyss, ladies and gentlemen. Part of the 4 Black Horsemen of Legends. My absolute favorite part of Legends. Again, if you're new here, the Abyss, Nether Void, Chains, and of course, All Hallows Eve, the 4 Black Horsemen cards. By far, Rudy's favorite 4 cards from Legends. And again, it says Enchant World. How can you not like a card that says Enchant World? It has artwork like that, man. It's flipping nuts. Again, I don't care what the price is. You'll always expand into the 4 Black Horsemen, no matter how many times. Just like your ex, you always go for it. It's just one of those things where they are just such a powerful, iconic piece of Magic history. Dragon Whelp, again, non-reserve list, simple cards like this, just like we talked about with like Disenchants, Lightning Bolts, Land of War Elves, Sinkholes, any of these basic cards like this, always I still feel very underappreciated. Beta Ices, still don't like them. I hate the over-dark printing. Drives me crazy. You guys know I'm obsessed with Alpha Ices. I have one of the largest, if not the second. I know one person has a bigger Alpha Icy collection than me. I love Alpha Ices. I'm sitting around 30 to 40 copies, including almost all of the PSA 10 Alpha Ices in the world. I love Alpha Icy because it's the only black bordered Icy manipulator that has the correct tone of the artifact brown border. And I just don't like Basalt Monolith and Icy and Sedge Troll that have the too dark of the contrast and saturation. Drives me crazy. Don't like it. But again, I understand the importance of it. All right. Playset of Winter Factories. Oh, God. If you have the capital and you love this crap and you're obsessed like me, like I'm obsessed with this stuff. You guys know that. You've been around. Winter Factories are where it's at. I don't care any other season. You buy the Winter Factories. Dragon Whelp. Let me just put that on the bottom. Ball Lightning. Yeah, we already talked about that. Again, Dragon Whelps. Again, Earthquakes. We talked about that in the other video. Pendlehaven. Again, if this was reserveless and never printed, can you imagine how expensive that would be today? Oh my God. Blood Moon. I hate this card. I hate playing against this card. They've reprinted Blood Moon. It's like, Blood Moon's like Tarmogoyf. It's like Lily or Snappy. There's certain modern cards that have been reprinted so many times. I feel like they've just lost their luster. I know original, the dark, again, we're back to the dark with the moon there. The dark is such the evil stepchild bad set that people didn't like of the 4 Horsemen. I still think the dark is just so misappreciated, underappreciated. It just needs some flippin' lovin'. I love the dark. Again, full disclosure, I have a substantial position in the dark. I've been buying cards, and I think I'm at, I don't know, maybe 50 complete sets of the dark, plus a bunch of bulk and leftover loose components of the dark. And I have probably, I think I have 25 sealed booster boxes of the Dark. I love the product. I've been buying it for the last, I probably started building a position in the Dark, probably 14, 15 years ago. I was buying boxes of the Dark for $300, and I was buying complete sets of the Dark for $75. I still love the product. I've never sold any of it. And this is a good time to remind everybody, this video is sponsored by myself. I don't take outside sponsors. And as always, if you have an old collection you want to be on the channel, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. Send the old PP over. Don't be gross. Pictures and prices. And as always, remember, that's the only way to reach me besides Patreon private messaging. Any other social media, any other comment in the comment section is not me. You will get scammed. AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com is the only authentic. And of course, the description of this video is the only safe mailing address. If you're sending a collection, it's in the description of every YouTube video. Nowhere else, no other social media, no private group. It is not me. Last thing, remember folks, everything you see in this video is not for sale. I still maintain after 6.9 years on YouTube, I do not sell old cards. Thank you for the contacts, but nothing you see in this video is for sale. All right, back to the video. Land Tax, again, 4th edition is when I was introduced to this when I was a high schooler. Love the card. Original version, still way underprinted. Okay, these beta non-reserve list cards have been reprinted. There's been a lot of yip-yap about the reserve list because, again, that's just how Timmies operate. There's a lot of conversation about common uncommons that are not reserve lists that's been reprinted many times. And what about the originals? Again, I know we talked about lightning bolts and some of the other Land of War elves and sinkholes, but again, these type of cards still severely undervalued. Like an original Alpha Beta Terror, how that's not a $1,000 card, how Regrowth and Elemental, these iconic cards are not at least like $500 or something, blows my mind. Okay, we're going to jump over to Legends here just for a minute. You know, these Elder Dragons, the original black-bordered Elder Dragons, you know, the Chromiums, the Palladia, Archive, you know, I was never a huge fan of them. The infamous EDH. I was never a fan of these monster dragons. I just didn't like the upkeep costs and always the drawback of them. But again, original Magic, if you wanted to cast crazy stuff, you had a downside effect. As far as set collecting and Legends itself, they are very sought after and they will hold their value. I do consider that a long-term hold. Again, the old Tetsuo, you know, cool cards, not my favorite. But again, same thing. Nebuchadnezzar, same thing. Very cool. All these weird legend cards of swords, arenas, and pentacles, and all these things. These are very bizarre cards. I don't think these are ever going to be $1,000 cards. They're real expensive. But they are technically reserve list. I don't think Arena of the Ancients is, though. And they are kind of sought out for set collectors. But there's going to be very limited upside. There's not really organic demand. They're not iconic. So when you look at these, okay, here's a good ending here. Again, Field of Dreams, one of my original specs from 2016, 2017, when I bought my 100 copies for about, I think it was $15 to $22 a card. I remember that day. I was buying 1 or 2 a day every day on eBay and TCG Player for like 2 months straight. Love the card. I think it's finally gone up, but I don't think it's ever become, you know, a $1,000 crazy card. But I always thought, you know, a one-drop Enchant World was a very special card. Dr. Sylvan, again, never been a Sylvan Library fan, but I understand the value of original. Guild Arbor over here, yeah, again, love the artwork, iconic, again, set collecting. Cleanse, I'm assuming this is the reason this is in this batch, because I would assume this is one of the culturally 2020, I don't know, riot, offensive, banning things like the other Magic cards. I'm assuming that's kind of Cleanse was one of those, because of the name, it says, you know, destroy black creatures, and it's a white card. I would assume this is one of those, that's why it's in this particular batch. Again, it's a Legends card. Cards like that, I don't see tremendous upside, no matter what cultural this and that. I don't think that matters. Overall, the only people who are going to want the card are really going to be set collectors and kind of some vintage collectors. So use caution trying to buy out cards like that, you know, like Invoke the P and Stone Throwing Devils and all these kind of cultural things. Use a lot of caution. Still not my favorite. They have their place. All right, wrap up this video over here. The 2 blue Infamous Transmutes and Power. Great cards. God, he'd love to sign cards, didn't he? I can't believe it. For the longest time, man, I was buying these things for $50 a piece because they were stuck at $100 a card for power and transmute for years, man, years. And then, like, finally, they popped through that barrier, that glass ceiling, and they've been way more expensive ever since. Bloodlust, Chain Lightnings, Winds of Change, not my favorite. Good, I consider them more set collecting. Antiquities, Strip Mines. Okay. That's a complicated, obviously, with the little tower, the horizons, no horizons. There's different rarities and different values based on the strip mine. So the price can swing between the artwork. by, 10, 20%. So just understand that there is different artwork with different values. Factories, kind of spring and summer factories, these are a lot cheaper than the actual winter versions. To round out the last bit here, obviously, I was super excited from this gentleman to see 2 beta Sarah Angels. Even in played condition, this one's got even almost a chip bent corner. But even in the condition, I get so excited to see a Sarah Angel. Beta, alpha, played, unplayed, I don't care. Personal Incarnation, I want to take a minute and talk about that one, but in 1 second. But let's end I just want to show you guys this last chunk here. We got Tron lands. I've been buying Tron lands, I swear, almost my entire life. Tron lands, to me, because they're not reserve lists, they've reprinted them, panoramic versions, VIP double masters, they, Chronicles, 7th edition. It really does show the impact of when a card is reprinted, not reserve list, that it does stunt the growth financially, and that's a great counterpoint example to the people saying, well, look at Alpha Birds of Paradise versus a $5 Birds of Paradise has been reprinted 30 times. Each card behaves differently. There is no blanket answer, and anyone who tries to pitch you either all one way or the other without looking at a more in-depth conversation is, again, a Timmy in a losing battle, and I do not recommend you kind of try to argue and be an internet warrior. But yes, the Tron lands are a great example of the importance of the reserve list, where cards like Birds of Paradise, Shivan, and Sarah Angel, where you can buy them for a quarter or 50 cents, versus the alpha versions that are $5,000, is a great example of why the reserve list doesn't matter. So depending on the card, the situation, the component, and the context, you can see the differences on the impacts of the reserve list. So last but not least, before we end today's video, I want to comment about this Personal Incarnation. That was a card, that was one of my first rare cards I ever pulled in a booster pack in 4th edition in 1995 when I begged my parents to take me to Electronics Boutique and Books A Million. One of the first 4th edition booster packs I ever opened, if not the first one. I got a Personal Incarnation in 4th edition. Never forgot it. Never forgot it, folks. We're talking literally, 25 years ago, okay? And it's kind of funny because I always thought it was an awful card. And it's kind of funny as the years went by, I've realized some more shenanigans and interactions and things you can actually do with the card where it's actually not as awful as I thought. And there are actually people, and that is one of those artworks and cards, that there are some hardcore people obsessed with the old PI, the Personal Incarnation. Personally, I own a couple beta versions. I think I probably have about 10 beta versions. But the Alpha Personal Incarnation is a very special card to me. And I think I have about 10 to 20 copies of Alpha Personal Incarnation. And again, with a print run of around 1,000, with an estimated survival rate of half that, so less than 500, in my opinion, owning 10 or 20 copies of something that may have 500 in the world is a pretty effing big deal. Certain cards like Fungasaur, Personal Incarnation, Mana Short. There are certain cards or Island Sanctuary. There's certain cards that I do have 2, 3, 4, 5% of the print run for Alpha. And that is one of the cards that's very special. And I feel as time goes on, more secrets and bizarre things may be unlocked with cards like Personal Incarnation, with cards like Island Sanctuary, some of these very funky cards. So thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it. Again, thank you to the gentleman, Dr. Nate, for selling me this. I hope you use the money for good things for your family and your significant other. And as always, everybody out there, thanks for watching. I always appreciate the views, support. We like to have a lot of fun on the channel. Rudy pumps, dumps, memes, washer dryers, and, dig holes, be carrots, look out for lawnmowers. But, that's what makes it fun. That's what gets me excited. I enjoy it all. There's nothing better in this world than enjoying collectibles and having a good time with it. And I know there's a lot of negativity and a lot of people who try to ask questions and use, all these little groups and private things online and social media. And it can be a little rough and toxic. People aren't very kind, whether they deserve it or not. A lot of people are pretty rough on the internet. The old keyboard warriors got some pretty heavy duty helmets. And as always, folks, remember, a lot of good things, a lot of good people, a lot of beautiful things in the world. And like I said, don't be afraid to get rid of those bad things. You'll enjoy your life. You got to look in the right direction. I'm a very optimistic guy. Even with the downturn, the weaker markets and collectibles, I am, what a time to be alive. And I think we're still going to see a lot of tremendous things in 2022. And like I said, this video is being filmed literally on like January 3rd, 2nd, 3rd. I'm not sure what day today is. But yeah, overall, and like I said, just enjoy your life, folks. Seriously, go outside. Don't be afraid to lick the driveway. Seriously, it's a beautiful world, everybody. Have a great day.